everybody. Happy family. How are you? That's good. I appreciate. Hi, Dimitri, my friend. Well, yesterday we had talking about how to sell on top or buy on deep strategy. And as you can see from my chronology on Twitter today, it's what I do yesterday. Since now, but is at your choice, I suggest I suggest you to use the new techniques to trade on demo first to trade on real account just to be practice. So first step of today will be to set up your laptop like mine. No. Take this to my coordinate. As you can see, when I because I use the same, okay, I use the same used in the bank. That's the reason. I use it in the bank. First of all, as you can see, my profile is for the fold. Yes. So I mean is the same profile that providers gave me. But if you have a profile saved and you set up your laptop, remember to save your profile. Or anytime you open your laptop, there is the risk that you have to set up again anytime. Appreciate. Well, vertically, 13 squares. I'm talking about grids, of course. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Horizontally, 35. There are simulator that simulate the laptop on your screen, on your normal screen. Ready to you can I can give you and you can follow how to set up by YouTube. Remember that between me and you, a normal difference between one pips and a half, it's okay because it depends from your provider spread. 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. pips, there is something wrong. What I do when I open for that's the reason because immediately I can set up any sort of currency if I need. Suppose I need an e-graph, okay? Dollar Canadian. This is the dollar Canadian. I click twice on the zoom, one, two. Then I click on Japanese candle, ready to go. Yes, twice on the zoom. I click twice on the zoom and I put the Japanese candle and I'm ready to control immediately what is the trading range on dollar Canadian, for example. Ugh, this is the reason. So in a bank, I'm ready. In a bank, Camellia, I mean, in just in a couple of seconds, I am ready to see what is the exactly situation. So since tomorrow, take your time. When we start the lesson, I will appreciate very much if you tell me what is the trading range on euro dollar and the normal situation and what is moving euro dollar in the market tomorrow. So you can take easy, set up your laptop. No, no, I must be sure that your trading range is similar to mine with a different maximum of 1.5 pips. In case you have a problem, I will send you by mail something about to simulate the platform or laptop in your screen. So thanks to YouTube, you will be able to set up your normal screen as a laptop. Okay. Well, now the lesson today. Yesterday we have seen together how to trade on top or buy on dip. This strategy apparently is easy, but not. This is the reason why, since now I told you to simulate on demo this strategy. Because, first of all, you are in practice. Then, as I used to say, the best is to simulate on demo this strategy first till you have a sort of protection to your capital deposit. Now we start to see how to trade on news, on United States news. Well, suppose we have not the trading range available because we have 84.14 now around 124. So just 30 pips. But suppose is good. Just for a while, just for example. First of all, we need, in this case, before and during the news, a sort of the trading range. But if we have not an available trading range, we can build an hypothetical trading range. As I used to say, as I used to say during the news. As you can see on my chronology, during the news, you know that I am a signal provider for TradingView. Hmm. Usually on TradingView, I used to say, uh, if I do not have a trading range, I used to say I will use an hypothetical trading range. Yes, yes, yes. On TradingView, I am a signal provider for 5 times a week. I have to repeat. Well, the signal that I show on as a signal provider on TradingView are usually when we have important news during the day. What I mean, suppose I decide to use, just for example, an hypothetical trading range 84.21 around 124. When we are trading on news, there are different techniques as well. What I mean, if we trade below under the news, we need to have just one idea and not two. I mean, if my idea is that news are good for United States, I decide to sell on action price on the bottom, or in case to active market, I start to sell on top. I start. Never go to the news with a double idea. So I mean sell, buy. Because the risk is that you lost because the market is very active during the news, because the risk is that you lost on both sides. I mean, you sell below 84 and market moves up, you buy and market moves down again. Usually, banks use these techniques just to confuse the people. This technique is called spoof. Why? What is the spoof? Is that I have an important amount to sell. And I am a big bank, I let know to the people, for example, that the market moves up. So everybody moves up, then I sell over here and I put the market over here. See what I mean? You sure? You sure? What is a spoof? Spoof. SPUFF. I mean, suppose, just for example, I have a big amount to sell in this area during news, and I am a big name as a bank on the market. So I will show that my interest, but this is a fake movement, that I am interested to pay and buy. The market thinks, oh, this big bank is trying to buy, so they moves up the price. When the market is over the top and everybody thinks I'm buyer, I call the bank on direct market from my dealing room and I start to sell immediately. Yes, in other words, what I do is to let the other banks that I am buyer, but I am seller. This is the reason why during the news you can see an active market that moves up and down. And this is the reason why we must use as well, and if we have not, an hypothetical trading range. We have three strategy. This is for professional. In other words, suppose I think euro dollar during the news might go down. What I do, I'm flat inside this trading range. I think that the dollar is going to get power. So what I do and what I say usual, before and during news, action price below 123 and 84. In case of top, this is just for example, I start to sell on top at 44. In other words, I mix two strategies. I have my, okay. During the news, the minimum stop loss is 30 pips. So how we can minimize our risk is a question for you. Exact. Exact. Perfect. So in this case, we will use, and this is why when we study the budget, we use a sort of spread between the minimum and maximum. We will use the minimum because the market condition is higher. So I must be able in the active market, yes, if I'm wrong, to close my deal between 30-40 pips of stop loss using the minimum amount. This technique, this technique that I still showing you is for professionals. So when you are able to mix it, the the techniques, to mix the techniques. In other words, what I say during and before the news, because the market start moves before the news, action price below 84, or I start really to sell on top in area 44. It's just an example. Inside the trading range, of course, I'm flat. This is the professional techniques that I use. That's why, because we must have an idea, we must be able to have an idea what is moving the market, an idea what can happen if the news are good, what is the forecast, everything, because we have no more time for an action during. I mean, suppose before the news market breakdown, 124 I sell, 123 and 84 I sell. If the market moves on my side before and during news, I close immediately. In other words, I take profit. Don't still dare to minimize the amount or calculate a break even because you do not have the time. Well, it's as I used to say, if we have a completely control of the market, we can open a trade before the news. That's why I say before and during the news. Take a look to my chronology on tweets under the news, and I used to say something like that. Okay. Second techniques. Instead of to use 30 minutes, I will use 1 hour. Hypothetical trading range. I will use, for example, 70, 29, 50 pips, more than 50 pips, 59 pips. In this case, if I decide, sorry to boring you, Camelia. No, no worries, just a joke. Well, suppose we are under the news, and instead of to use To sell, just for example, or before and during news, we sell only on news using 1 hour. In other words, short at 70 if the market moves down. And I start, for example, to sell on top if the market moves at 64. But after the news, this is a medium techniques. In other words, I do not touch the market before the news. During, before the news, I do not touch the market. I must be able, if the market, for example, moves down before the news, to update my trading range down or higher. I want to be third, I want to be protect. Okay, I will use 4 hour trading range. How to trade with a 4 hour trading range? Well, I have 80, 100 pips of spread on 4 hour. What I'm going to do? What I'm going to do? Well, that's easy. During the news, I let run the price on 100 pips. Of course, if the market have a spoof, the market moves up. When the market takes just 1 minute, 1 minute and a half or sooner, when the market takes is the right way, I must be able to immediately goes to my, suppose the market moves higher, okay? We make an example. Market arrives at 124 and 38, okay? The market arrives over here in this area. Then start to move down. Immediately I move on 30 minutes. Market was above 84, above 38. So the new trading range will be I update immediately the trading range and I will be sure only below 123 and 20 and 98. In other words, I let moves the market. When the market takes the right trend, so start to move down or up, I immediately move on 30 minutes. I update my new trading range, then ready to trade after news. Yes, yes, yes. I mean, well, the news coming out. Market is hectic. I still in control of 4 hours. Market moves, just for example, up over the top, then take the trend down. Once time the market takes the trend down, immediately I move on 30 minutes. I update the 30 minutes trading range. In this case is higher at 98 instead of to sell below to 84. And I am ready to sell below 98 and back inside. This is the right way to trade quiet. In other words, we have three different techniques on the same market. Or we trade before and during news, or we trade during news, or we wait that the market takes place after news using a wider time frame. In case what? Can you repeat, please, Camelia? Well, immediately from 4 hour, suppose the market moves up, then take the trend down. What we do, we immediately go to the 30 minutes, we update the new trading range, that in this case is higher, and we start to understand immediately what is the new resistance in terms of trading range. In this case will be 98. If the market 98, no, 99. If the market moves down below 99 action price and I sell. This is the technique to be sure and avoiding that the market made anomalous movement. In this case, we let move the price on 4 hours. Once time the market take the right trend, immediately we sell below 99 instead of 84. Because in this movement, suppose the market reach this area 38, of course the trading range is higher on 30 minutes. So immediately I update my new trading range, especially on resistance if the market moves down, and I observe that I have a chance to sell below 99 instead of 84. Because why? If we take a trading range on 4 hour and the market moves up 30, 40 pips immediately, 50 pips immediately, we're still quiet. The market start to, to move down. Immediately, we back to the 30 minutes, we recalculate from the last top. In this case, suppose that the market reach 38.40 on 4 hour, my trading range will be 99.44. So below 99, I will sell on action price. In other words, with this technique, we work more quiet. You know. Remember, The best indicator during the news is dollar yen because it's easy to manipulate the market on euro dollar and sterling dollar. But it's not so easy to manipulate the market on dollar yen. So if dollar yen moves up, we perfectly know that the euro dollar moves down. So independently to the techniques, the first one to sell before and during, second one to sell uh, on extra price only on news, and the third one using the 4 hour, we must be able to take a look what is the movement on dollar yen. See what I mean? See what I mean? There are questions? Okay. So as you can see, apparently to trade is not a job, is an art, because in every situation we are able, thanks to the control of the market, to decide what strategy to do. This is useful as well for news or speeches about central banks. Speeches is a press conference. In this case, we have three different time to understand what we're going to do and what strategy to apply. We are not so sure that the dollar moves down. Okay, can use 1 hour and 4 hour. We are sure that the movement of euro dollar is driven by arbitrage, and we can decide that the dollar must might get power. In this case, I will sell before and during news below the trading range, or I start to sell on top. It depends. You want to be more aggressive, or that's the reason why I say first period, please. First of all, remember I'm always with you. So you can take a look at me before the news, and if you have an idea or you are not decided about what, contact me, because after mentoring, as I told you, I not used to say, okay, good luck. We're still in contact. Anytime you need, here I am. Important is that you practice these techniques, these three techniques at your choice, before and during news. Using a demo, for example. Why? Because on demo you can see if you are able to manage the risk inside. Yes, sure. Well, I suggest everybody to use a demo account during the news, and if you decide to work on to sell on top. Why? Because you need to to know if you are able to control risk, especially during the news. Once time you are in practice, then you can test using minimum amount the real account. This is important. But in case if you do not have the time, and for example, you forgot how to trade the news, we can take an appointment for free by Skype and I will refresh you because I still in contact with all my students. Now I have, for example, now in this moment I have 10 students on direct message Twitter. They do not trade the same currency. Someone trade euro dollar, someone trade dollar yen, someone trade sterling or Canadian or Australian. This is a service just for my students, of course. And this is the reason why I share on Twitter only my activity on euro dollar. Now, mhm, yes, yes. If you follow my chronology, like for example today, I was short on average at 124 and 52. The market moves at 124 and 70 during the morning, that moves down. When the market moves and the price was 124 and 40, I flat my position. But my position was double. So sorry, at 38. I closed at 38. But my position was for the double amount because I was short. Yes, yes, this is the reason. I had two positions. So half million euro dollar short of 52 and I close at 38. Everything. So it's 14 pips of profit. But as I use constant my to take my accounting on 2.5 lot, I consider it 14 pips on 500,000 euro dollar, like 24, 28 on 2.5 lots. Because my account is for the budget considered by 2.5 lots. When at the end of the day I used to say I'm done for the day, PNL, euro dollar plus X, or plus 20 pips, I mean plus 20 pips on 2.5 thousand euro dollar. Everything is calculated from the medium price. This is the reason. This is the reason why when I showed you the budget, I told you use the fixed price at the end of the day. Because I can calculate every day. Today I heard 10 pips on 500. Today I heard 10 pips on 2.5 thousand. I calculate only in 2.5 thousand. Then, once time I closed my deal, I update my trading range. I update my trading range with the new signal below 38. Action price below 38, you can control my chronology, was closed at 2029 for 9 pips of profit. Then I update again my new trading range on 30 minutes. That was 6 on the bottom, 124 and 06 on the bottom, and 124 and 38. So 32 pips. I sold at 124 and 05. Close it, if I'm not wrong, at 123 and 94 for 11 pips. So I made an action price. I made a sell on top yesterday. Then today I was in position short because my average was increased by the swap. What is the swap? Do you know what is the swap? Yes, is a rollover because now I'm going to explain what I mean because sometimes the people doesn't look the swap. Do you remember when I told you to control what is your profit in base to your on overnight the day after to control your profit and divide the profit for your total amount to see what is your average? Well, there is a reason. I was short in overnight of euro dollar. When the New York market closed, the accounting is for another day. In this case, it look like if you're still short of euro dollar, your platform calculate immediately that you have to borrow in deposit euro and invest dollar in deposit. This is the reason why I was 1 pips higher. Because what is this movement? This movement of swap is easy. We need a financial calculator, but just to have an idea, we can calculate using, just for our info because it's important, the difference between dollar interest rate is higher than euro. So it's dollar minus euro interest rate. So interest rate, deposit rate, multiply for the spot price, suppose 124, and then you you must to know what happened during the rollover. In other words, dollar interest rate is higher of, of, of interest rate of euro. Then we multiply the difference for the medium price, 124 and 10, just for example now. We multiply again the result for one day, roll over, overnight. Then we divide for 36,000. Yes. In other word, we have a sort of primes equal, just for example, plus 1 pip. This is called prime because is the difference between interest rates, multiply the swap, multiply the day, and divide 36,000. Now we have, for example, we can have, depends to the provider, 1 pips, uh, zero 0.9 pips, or whatever else. Now we have to add this 1 pips to your normal plus average. If in average you are short at 124 and 51 like I was yesterday in the night, it's easy to understand that plus 1 I am short at 124 and 52 because my prime is in my favor because I am long on dollars. Dollars interest rate is higher. Yes, yes, increase your profit. Uh-huh. You copy me. You're always welcome, bro. Well, but this is just the right way to know why the market change your profit. In this case, if you have more than one deal, instead of to calculate for each deal how many is the swap, how much is the swap, you can calculate the new profit divided for amount and you have the new average. As you can see, when I opened the market, my first tweet was, I'm short 5 lot plus swap at 1, 24, and 52. This is the reason. Because anytime I sell euro, is look like I take in deposit euro during overnight, but I invest dollar. Dollar deposit is higher. Interest rate is higher respect to the euro. So my profit improve my average. And in future, this should be very important because the people looks like to take look only to the PNL on terminal, but you must be able to calculate on overnight what is your new average. In case of then you are short, for example, of dollars and plus euro, you were long on euro during overnight, your average moves down. That's the reason. And this is very, very important because now we know how the terminal works. And now we know, remember when I told you apparently, but just apparently, when I'm on mentoring, I speak randomly. But everything is linked. Remember when I told you, suppose how to calculate the average if you are earning dot money, market is at this price and you are open for total amount of different position. This is the right way to understand immediately because in the morning you take a look to the market price, medium price. Then you calculate your profit and you divide your profit for your amount. The difference is the swap. As you can see, everything is linked. Well, that's all for today. I thank you very much for your attention. Bye. See you tomorrow. Don't you forget that tomorrow I need your trading range. Bye. Bye bye.